Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment NFL Week 2 picks and predictions. Last week we went 11-5 straight up. Those damn Detroit Lions didn't want us to go 12-4. Damn those Detroit Lions. But we went 1-4 for a guarantee. So I love the straight up predictions. Guarantees. No, I stunk. Oh, PU. It was bad last week. But it was week 1 in this new NFL, new COVID-19 NFL. I needed to see our team still going to be scoring. What are they going to be looking like with no crowds? Okay, now I get it. I guarantee I'll be better than that. And we're going to start making some money. So with that said, let's get into NFL week 2 and let us begin as we always do with the Thursday night football game. This is featuring the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Cleveland taking on the Cleveland Browns. Now, some people, like Colin Cowherd, are saying, oh, Joe Burrow looked good in his first game. And I'm like, what game did you watch? Because you obviously didn't watch the game. You obviously tuned into the fourth quarter, you saw the final drive, and you assumed that Joe Burrow was good the whole game. He was not. He was Joe Checkdown. He was checking down, missing passes. He was pretty inaccurate. Of the 32 quarterback performances last week, it was a bottom 5 quarterback performance period from Joe Burrow last week. I was not impressed. Now, the offensive line in Cincinnati stinks. And I'm blaming that more than him. But he's not that good at this point, and the Bengals certainly aren't that good at this point. Now, the Browns aren't either, as they got their ass kicked by the Baltimore Ravens last week. They have way more the talent at this point, way more advanced in their progression at this point as a football team, right? A year or two ahead in terms of their rebuilding effort, and trust me, it's been an effort. So give me the Cleveland Browns to win this one. The Bengals, yes, they have some things that look like, hey, you know, I like the potential of A.J. Green being back and healthy. He looks decent there. The run game, maybe Joe Mixon can get it going. But until this offensive line gets it together, I just can't trust the Bengals week to week. Give me the Browns to win this game at home. Next, give me the Atlanta Falcons at the Dallas Cowboys. Both of these teams 0-1 in need of a victory. Again, yes, we have 7 playoff teams. We have 3 wild card spots in both the AFC and the NFC this season. So being 0-2 is not a death sentence, but it certainly is a sentence you want to avoid. The Dallas Cowboys are right back to disappointing us, but you know what? They're also probably going to go right back to being inconsistent week to week, looking bad one week and good the next. Give me the Dallas Cowboys to win this game at home because the Falcons secondary is still struggling, whereas the Cowboys wide receivers looked damn good last week. The problem was the offensive line wasn't that great, but the Falcons don't have the pass rushers to really give Dak Prescott problems. Give me the Cowboys to win this game in the Big D. Moving on to the next game, we have the Carolina Panthers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know, I was one of the ones that had faith in the Bucs this season. You know, 11-5, not the 12-4, 13-3 that some people had, but quite confident in them. This matchup concerns me because the Bucs aren't ready yet. I think they will get things going and rolling as the chemistry gets better, but the chemistry is not there yet. Whereas the Panthers offensively, they looked pretty good last week. Like Teddy Bridgewater hit Robbie Anderson for a deep pass. Christian McCaffrey was doing his thing. This is a huge potential upset game here. Huge. And I almost went for the upset. I couldn't quite do it. If it was in Carolina, I would have 100% done it. I don't have the balls to do it right now, unfortunately. They didn't drop this morning. But if you do and you get this right, I give you all the confidence because the Panthers actually look better than out there they're going to last week. Even against the Raiders, I thought they were going to lose significantly. They almost won the game if Matt Rule maybe doesn't do a fullback dive in the fourth quarter at the very end of the game. So give me the Bucs here, but not confidently at all. All right, we have the New York Giants at the Chicago Bears. I want to go upset here because, yes, the Giants are not going to win many games this year, but they're going to be improved. Daniel Jones had some mistakes last week, but he looked pretty accurate for most of the game, and that's normally his move, whereas Trubisky looks horrible for most of the game, and he'll make the occasional nice play, which makes up for it. But right now, the Giants' defense is awful, whereas the Chicago Bears' defense is still quite strong. It has more issues than it's had in the previous years, but it's still, you know, at least decent. I can't say the same about the Giants' defense. So Trubisky will do enough, and Allen Robinson will do enough, and Tariq Cohen will do enough, and David Montgomery will do enough. And with Saquon Barkley struggling right now, I have to go the Bears, but there is an upset possibility here. Would not shock me at all if the Giants went to Chicago and got it done. Next game, we have the L.A. Rams at the Philadelphia Eagles, and here we go. All right, I don't know what to believe when it comes to this Philadelphia Eagles team right now. You look at their team makeup, this offensive line, the shuffling offensive line, the injuries that they've had. Now Jason Peters back to left tackle. Isaac Seumalo at left guard. With Brandon Brooks being injured, with Lane Johnson being out, it's been problematic. The offensive line last week was awful, allowing 8 sacks to Carson Wentz. Now, the Rams don't have that much in terms of the outside, in terms of their edge defenders. They have Leonard Floyd, they have Ebukam, and that's about it. But they do have that boy Aaron Donald in the middle, and that's a problem, especially when I look at this Eagles offensive line right now. I mean, the middle might be actually the best part. I guess you could actually argue. Maybe Jason Peters to the left side, but we all know he is old. So, I mean, I don't know. It bothers me, whereas the Rams, last week, they showed against the Cowboys, who I think are a better NFC East team, albeit in LA. They showed that they still have that coaching advantage, that Sean McVay is still getting them as prepared as they can be to go win. And this Eagles secondary, even with Darius Slay now in the fold, you can never trust them. So give me Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Jared Goff to make enough plays to beat Philly here. But just know, I'm not particularly confident in this matchup. This could go either way, but right now, yes, do give me the LA Rams to beat Philly in Philly. Next game, we have the Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers. And, I mean, come on. First of all, I told you the Packers are going to beat the Minnesota Vikings last week. I don't know why everyone was surprised by this. I don't know why everyone is so surprised that Aaron Rodgers is good. We've been knowing this for a decade, and yet people still don't want to believe it. I don't get it. But with the Lions, they choked. They love choking. They're going to love to continue to choke. Matt Patricia is going to be the first coach fired this year. It's ridiculous. It's a disaster. It's a train wreck. Give me the Packers to win this game in Green Bay. Next game, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans. And look, all right, Jaguar fans, I knew this is what was going to happen. You guys were going to win one game and be so annoying. Jaguar fans already being so annoying, saying, I told you all we weren't tanking. I told you all we were good. We're coming for the AFC South. We're going to beat the Titans and be 2-0 and on top of the AFC South. I mean, Jaguar fans, is there any more delusional fan base? Maybe the Cleveland Browns. It goes Cleveland Browns, and it goes Jacksonville Jaguar fans. But that's all right, because here comes Derrick Henry in his stiff arm to remind you what is up in this division. When the Jacksonville Jaguars and Tennessee Titans face off, give me the Tennessee Titans to win this game in Nashville. Next game, we have the Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are right back to playing so mediocre. I mean, is it even mediocre, or is it just bad? I think they were just bad last week. Ryan Fitzpatrick, it actually wasn't that awful, but he still threw 3 interceptions last week, in large part due to how great the Patriots' defense is and secondary is. But man, I mean, the passing offense is just not in a rhythmic flow right now. Preston Williams is doing the most he can. Devontae Parker, he's known for his inconsistency, whereas the Bills, their defense is already right. Josh Allen's looking improved. You gotta go the Bills here, even in Miami, to get the victory in this AFC East matchup. Next game, we have the Minnesota Vikings at the Indianapolis Colts. 2-0-1 teams facing off here. A lot of people had both of these teams scheduled and slated to make the playoffs. Huge matchup here. I do not have much faith in the Vikings this year. I think their secondary is trash. I think Roger exposed it last week. Phillip Rivers had some issues last week. Also did a lot of things right last week. I'm conflicted. This game is an Indy. Does it really matter without fans? Not really. But give me the Colts barely here. I just like the fact that I trust the Colts offensive line. I still don't trust the Vikings offensive line. And DeForest Buckner didn't have the great game I expected him to have in his Colts debut. I expect better. I expect better play overall from the Colts, and I expect them to win at home. But if they lose this one, then okay, the Colts are just overrated. Forget what we're seeing on paper. It's just not going to show up on the field. And we just completely overrated them just based on paper, because they're obviously not showing up if they lose to the Jaguars and then the Vikings this week. There's a problem in Indianapolis that we overlooked. All right, next game, we have the Denver Broncos at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Broncos now in danger of starting 0-2. Now, this is not a start a lot of people expected. If you looked at the schedule, you might have expected it. I expected it. But a lot of people thought the Broncos were going to be the sleeper this year in the AFC, and they can still certainly make the playoffs and maybe make noise. But Pittsburgh, I mean, this team is back. You see their defense right now. Big Ben is slinging that rock. There's a reason why I had the Steelers 10-6, winning the AFC North. No, not winning the AFC North. Making the wild card. And, you know, they're going to compete for the AFC North for a little bit. But then the Ravens are going to run away with it. I'll say that. Give me the Steelers, man. I mean, I'm just telling you, man, it's just such a difficult, test in terms of beating the Steelers right now. Now, the one thing I'll say, Benny Snell, although he looked good last week, he's starting at running back, so that's the one weakness that they certainly have. But, I mean, guys, the wide receivers are there, the offensive line's there, the quarterback's there, the defense is there. The Steelers are really good. The Steelers are really good. Big Ben's going to have some of his bad games. Don't see it in this one. Give me the Steelers to win this game at home. Next game, you have the San Francisco 49ers at the New York Jets. The Jets stink. And this is something that we can just rinse and repeat, copy and paste almost every single year. It's just ridiculous. Was there anything that looked different about the Jets last week than the year before? I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, the last 3 years, they look the same. Nothing's changed. I mean, it's just, they're so boring to watch. Sam Darnold can only do so much. The run game is awful. The offensive line's awful. The defense shows potential, but not good enough. I mean, it's just the same old story. Now, the 49ers showed signs of weakness. I'm going to give more credit to the Cardinals than fault to them. But if they lose this one, we have problems for San Francisco. I think the Jets will, score a little bit in this game. But ultimately, got to give me the 49ers to win this game in New York. Next game, we have the Washington football team at the Arizona Cardinals. Now, there's a reason why you come to this channel. One is my beautiful tongue and the way it flows. But number two, for my occasional bold prediction, I got the Washington football team beating the Cardinals. Now, this is nothing against the Cardinals, but the Cardinals' offensive line is still having some problems. Now, they only allowed 2 sacks last week. Do not be fooled. This is not a talented offensive line yet in this league. Whereas the Washington football team, 8 sacks against the Eagles, and now they're coming to town. Chase Young on the edge, coming for Kyler Murray's ass. Oh, boy. And they're going to make just enough plays offensively. This Washington football team under Ron Rivera, go watch the tape. They are scary defensively. Give me the Washington football team, man. One of my upsets this week to go to Arizona and get the win. All right, next game, we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Houston Texans. A battle between Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson. I almost called him DeFraud, but no, he is Deshaun Watson. Now, the question is, can the Texans stop the Baltimore Ravens run game? Absolutely not. And that's why I ultimately have this being nearing a blowout. I mean, if you saw the Texans run defense last week, they could not stop the Kansas City Chiefs and Clyde Edwards-Helaire to save their lives. This is what Patrick Mahomes not even running. Now Lamar Jackson's going to be running. Now J.K. Dobbins going to be running. Now Mark Ingram's going to be running. How are they going to stop this offensive attack? I don't see it. I see the Ravens putting up points. Deshaun putting up some points, not enough points. Give me the Baltimore Ravens to beat the Houston Texans easily in this upcoming matchup. Next game, we have the Kansas City Chiefs at the LA Chargers. And the Chargers showed us all why I don't have much faith in them this year. Struggling to the Bengals. They probably should have lost that game if AJ Green doesn't get that pass interference in the end zone, which I think was a good call. But still, if it wasn't for that, they could have lost the game. And if Reggie Bullock's leg doesn't freeze up, then we're at least talking about going overtime. So give me the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, let's not waste any time on this matchup. Give me the Chiefs to go to LA and win this game. The bigger question is, will they cover the 8.5 spread? And I'm mixed on that, but the Chiefs keep it rolling. Next game, we have the New England Patriots at the Seattle Seahawks. That should say Seahawks. And this is a matchup that is a Super Bowl rematch, but now, instead of Tom Brady being the quarterback of the New England Patriots, it is instead Cam Newton. How about this NFL that we are now seeing? But ultimately, you had to give me the Seahawks to win this game at home. I think the Patriots will show us a lot. I think Cam Newton will show us a lot. Show us that, yes, they still might be contenders in this league, at least competing for the AFC East. But ultimately, Russell Wilson makes a play here and a play there. And Jamal Adams makes a play here and a play there. And the Seahawks get it done at home. And then finally, we have the Monday Night Football game featuring the New Orleans Saints at the Las Vegas Raiders. Upset alert, upset alert, upset alert. Now, to a certain extent, I do have the Saints winning this game. But I'm telling you, in this Raiders home debut without Michael Thomas, Derek Carr slinging the rock, I think this is going to be a close game through and through. But then the Saints will have to have a game-winning drive to win, and I think they will provide that. But I'm telling you, be very cautious of this matchup. The Las Vegas Raiders right now they're hyped up. They're hyped up playing under John Gruden. Have a lot of confidence coming off of last week. And again, no Michael Thomas for the Saints. Gonna cause some problems, but ultimately, I can't trust the Raiders defense to stop anybody right now. Matt Rule stopped himself against them last week. So give me the Saints to win this Monday Night Football game. And with that said, let's move to my guarantees of the week, where we need more success than we had in the last. Okay, 1-4 is ridiculous. We can't do it. Let's avoid it. Let's do it. Give me Rams pick'em. I don't love this, but look, if there's ever a pick'em and I feel like, hey, 60% I'm confident in this team, I can bet on that. I'm 60% confident that the Rams are going to go to Philly and win. I'll take the pick'em. Give me the Panthers +9. I think this line is way too wide. The Panthers might win the game. The Panthers might go to Tampa Bay and win that game. Absolutely. The way they competed against the Raiders last week, they could go win. Now you give me 9 points? Give me that. Giants +5.5. Again, I think they might beat the Bears. They're two young teams, at least offensively. Either team cannot show up any given day. I think the Giants are finishing at least within a field goal, at least 4 points. Give me the Giants +5.5. Redskins +6.5 as well. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to beat the Cardinals. Now you're giving me 6.5 points with their defense, the way their defense is playing right now. Give me the Washington football team +6.5. And then the Baltimore Ravens -7. I think this is easy money. I think they're going to go to Houston. I think they're going to dominate. I think they're going to run away with the game. And I think ultimately, this could be a 5-0 week for my guarantees. So with that said, that's going to do it for my NFL Week 2 picks and predictions. What are your picks and predictions? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.